In October of 2015, the Entergy Corporation announced plans to decommission the Pilgrim Nuclear Power Plant by 2019. Just last week, several scientists held a forum at the Plymouth Public Library to discuss the details with the public. We spoke with two of the experts to find out exactly what decommissioning a nuclear power plant entails.
The process to knock down a nuclear plant takes about 10 years. And I wrote the first decommissioning handbook back in the 80s, so I know that. The first thing you have to do when you shut a nuclear plant down is get the fuel out of the nuclear reactor into the fuel pool. And it'll stay there for 4 or 5 years. And the second thing you have to do is go through all of the liquid systems and drain the radioactive liquid and process it. At that point, you can lay the plant up for a long time because there's nothing to rust and there's nothing to leak. That process takes about a year to get the plant to the point where you can walk away and realize that there's not going to be any further leaks. About 4 years on, it's time to move the nuclear fuel out of the fuel pool, and then it goes down on the ground and sits in dry casks until the government's ready to take it to Yucca Mountain or another permanent waste dump.
Right now, there's no place for spent fuel to go. The Department of Energy is working furiously on trying to find an interim site where they can gather together the fuel from the various nuclear plants. But that hasn't happened, and in our view, it's not likely to happen anytime soon. The best course for the fuel that's generated at these plants is to take it out of the spent fuel pools, especially in plants like Pilgrim, where the spent fuel pool is an elevated pool. It's on the third or fourth floor, whatever it is, and really get it down and separate it out into units of 68 assemblies and packed into hermetically sealed stainless steel canisters. The canisters put in concrete silos. That way the fuel is stabilized. There's no reasonable accident that we could predict for fuel that's stored that way.
There will be a last day that Pilgrim runs, and the reactor's like a big pressure cooker. And once they take that lid off and they start removing the fuel, it's over. There's no more electricity coming out, there's no more pressure, and there's no more risk of a nuclear meltdown. The process of tearing down the structure is just like tearing down this library. It's wrecking balls, it's cutting torches, occasionally it's explosives, but you also have the issue of you have to remove the radioactivity before you do that. So when you drop a building, last thing you want is a cloud of radioactive dust. So all of the radioactive material is taken out and sent most likely to Texas to a waste dump there before you drop the concrete structures. I hope that the citizens who come tonight get an appreciation for how easy the process is, but how complicated the regulatory maze is.